Alright guys, Darren from FBA Elite and welcome back to another video. So I'm recording in the garden today as it is far too hot in the office. I actually recorded the video here on Monday for my other channel and someone asked me if I was using a green screen. So just to prove that I'm not using a green screen, that is the view out of my garden and you can see the garden there. It's not a green screen. I think the reason people ask me that is where I've got an umbrella up at the moment. It's really bright outside. There's a lot of contrast and my face is super dark. So I'm going to put a lighting effect on my face now so you can see me a bit better. So it's probably going to look a bit fake when I do that. But in this video, I want to talk about Amazon M.O.E. It's only going to be a short video, but it's going to be one of the most important things for new sellers. It's something that people don't think about enough. So when someone decides to start an Amazon FBA business and they find their first product, one of the things they're usually willing to compromise on to get it to work, because most people are in a rush and are desperate to start Amazon FBA, as they know the potential, how much money you can make with Amazon FBA. And this video for me is a good example of this. I'm only here living in the country as I always wanted to do because of Amazon FBA. Some people want Amazon to allow them to quit their job. Some people want it so they can go and buy a Lambo. Some people want it so they can travel the world. For me, I always wanted that freedom of being able to work anywhere, to be able to relocate to where I wanted to. So this, for me, Amazon FBA has worked really well. I still sell on Amazon 5 years later. And of course, I teach people how to do it as well. But decide if Amazon FBA is the right model for you because it can change your life. It changed mine. But coming back to this video, Amazon M.O.E. So when people have selected that first product, the thing they are usually willing to give up to force it to work, when often they should just move on to a different product, is the profit margin. So I always recommend at least 30% profit margin before taking into account PPC, as that will usually provide enough buffer to work with. And I also recommend a price point of £20 upwards. So that 30% will give you kind of £6-7 minimum of profit to work with PPC. Now what I want you to do instead of thinking of it as profit margin, I want you to think of it as M.O.E., which is your margin of error. And the reason for that, it is very easy for people to mentally give up profit. So they go, well, I wanted to make £7 profit per unit, but it's not going to work out, but it will if I only make £4 per unit. The problem with that, that's like 2 or 3 clicks of PPC before that margin is gone and you are at break even and making a loss. Whereas if you think about it as your margin of error, so that's how much you've got to work with before that unit is making a loss, it changes the mindset. People are a lot less willing to say, oh, I've only got £4 to sell that product before I'm making a loss, versus, oh, I've got £7 or £8 to sell that product. Because even if you make a poor product selection, providing there is demand, even if you launch a product that looks like everyone else, you have enough PPC budget to pretty much brute force sales with £7 to £8 per product. You can sell those through at break even or better, providing you don't make any fundamentally massively bad mistakes with the product itself. But if you only have a margin of error of £3 to £4, that could be 2 or 3 clicks of PPC. So if you think about it as your M.O.E. instead, you'll be less likely to pick a product that doesn't work in the first place. You're also going to protect yourself financially. Even if things don't go to plan on Amazon, you should be able to recoup most of your initial investment, providing that your profit margins do stack up. But I think if you think about them instead of a profit margin, but as a margin of error, you'll be a lot less willing to give those up to make a product work. You might have to go through lots of hundreds of different products until you find one that's got a suitable margin. So the benefit of living in the country, you get a fly in the ear mid-video. You might have to go through hundreds of products until you find one that has a suitable margin, but it will put you in a much better position, 1, to protect yourself with your margin of error, but 2, also to make decent profits, especially now that PPC is pretty much required long-term for all products. There's not many niches now where you use PPC for launch only. In most cases, you're going to be using PPC a lot in the first 3 to 4 weeks, and then you might be able to throttle it back a bit long-term. But there's very few products now you can turn PPC off completely. So don't have a small margin of error. You need a big margin of error. You want that £6, £7, £8 plus to play with. And then even if you don't make a great selection, you should still be able to recoup your investment. But in the ideal world, you'll have a good product with a good margin, a good profit margin, a good margin of error. And you'll go on to make life-changing decisions like I did with my first product and follow-up products. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you are thinking about starting your own Amazon FBA business, I'm going to pop up the step-by-step guide now, which talks you through everything you need to do to start your own business. And I'll see you guys over there.